everybody, welcome back to the channel. Happy Sunday. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Today is a special collaboration video with the Crystal from Crystal Souls and Stuff here on YouTube. I will go ahead and link to her video down below, as well as I'll also try to link it up in the iCards as well. So I am so excited about this. This was a labor intensive project. So first of all, let me just say thank you everyone for all of your wonderful comments and everything. I was a little delayed in getting back to all the comments, but thank you everyone for my previous video with the 25-pound weight loss. And just to answer a couple quick questions, yes, I have more clarity, more energy to continue to do just do more things in general and take care of things, you know, not as much of the whole foggy mind thing going on, and hence why I did that big old renovation, or not renovation, cleanup in my sewing room, if you saw that video from a couple weeks ago. And yes, the turmeric is definitely helpful for inflammation as well as for joints. So yeah, I just wanted to answer those couple questions, but thank you everyone. And I have to tell y'all, thank you also for those who love my new glasses. I have to tell you, I am so in love with these. I am so in love with these. So let me jump into what our collaboration is. First of all, and I just decided to do a whole look. And this is another reason why I have this. You all saw this maybe a month ago. I shared this. This is an erasable measurement chart. This is why this is so important to me, because as I continue to lose weight and I do things, different things, especially things that's a little bit more tailored, and I'll talk about that in a moment, having my current measurements is definitely a must at all times, and it's erasable. So if you did not see that video, I'll leave a link to the video, and then where you can get it for free as a download off of my website. So yeah, I will go ahead and leave that in the it'll always be in the description box. So yeah, anyway, so let's jump into it. Crystal and I both had picked up the Vogue 1036, and I'll pop up a picture, and we both wanted to do it. This is like the infamous denim jacket everybody talked about, especially on pattern review. If you go out to pattern review, different things like that, it's an out of print pattern. But I picked mine up, and I didn't even mark down, oh yes I did, the Etsy shop where they only had the one, so they wouldn't have it again. But I got it off of Etsy, and I just got it this recent March 2020, and I paid $9.99 for it, and all the pieces were in there. Everything was in good condition, all of that. And I have a couple other the Sandra Bedzina patterns that I haven't dived into yet, and so I figured this will be my first one. But this one, and then so we decided to do the collaboration for this, and we decided this a long time ago, because it's, you know, it's closer to, well, it's cooler where Crystal is now than it is here in Texas. So I will go into the details of mine, but mine is unlined. I did not line mine. And I'm also using, for both of these projects I'm sharing today, the fabric is a navy cotton twill that I had picked up from Nick of Time Fabrics. If you saw my haul video, you know I had picked that up and said I would share with you what that look will be. And so this is the look. And then I think I'm going to do the skirt first, because I actually show you a short clip of how I did the muslin for the Sandra Bedzina jacket. So let's switch and go to the Cashmerette Ellis skirt. Okay, I decided to take the jacket off so you can see a couple of the features. But anyway, I had picked this up back in May, when Cashmerette was having buy two get one free, and so yeah, I went ahead and picked that up, and those might have been for the paper pattern. I think that sale was, but I decided to do view A of the Ellis skirt, and you all know I love denim skirts. There's no such thing as having too many denims. I just love denim skirts. However, because I knew I was stuck on doing that jacket, the Vogue jacket, in a twill, not a denim. I didn't want a denim jacket. Not that I wouldn't do that in a denim, but you all know I did the Rebecca Page denim. So I want to do something just a little bit different. And so I wanted a skirt out of the same fabric, and again, because it, you know, it kind of has that denim look to it. It's a very nice fabric. It's sewed up really well. It does fray, this cotton twill fray. And I have to say, my sewing machine, because I set up just how I set things up for both of these projects, because both projects require top stitching. So what I did was set up all of my machines. I set up my Brother SE400 for the sewing piece, and I used my Brother Pacesetter 2500 for the top stitching. However, I had to switch from my Brother Pacesetter to my Janome HD 3000, because for whatever reason, now my Pacesetter always have been able to sew through denim. I did use a top stitching needle. Then even when I switched to a regular needle, I was using top stitching thread, the whole nine. The only thing I could come to the conclusion was the fabric, and it's because let's see, if you can tell on the thread grains go from side to side. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. You're probably not. So they don't go up and down, and I don't know if, you know, vertical. So they go crossways, and so I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not, but my machine struggled. And when I would try to turn the knob, you guys know I broke the knob. Now, you know, the little knob on the side of the machine. Now I'm gonna have to call my local dealer to see if I can reorder that piece, because this little pieces on the inside of it. Actually, I can show you. Okay, I don't know if you can tell. There's little pieces on the inside that broke off. Now it still will turn, obviously, because that one piece kind of broke off. You know, I have to work it, and so I'm gonna have to order another one of these. And so I'm glad that happened very early on when I started on the skirt, before I even got to the jacket. And that's when it dawned on me, switch and use your Janome HD 3000, and there was no problems. But I was yeah, so I'm a little bummed about that, but I'm gonna have to order that piece again. But anyway, so for the skirt, this skirt is so very easy, and here's the thing: it's termed intermediate, because you do have to put in the front fly zipper, and it does call for a buttonhole. But because I knew I was doing snaps on the jacket to mimic the front of the pattern, I went ahead and put a snap on the skirt. So I didn't do a button on the skirt. But I would say it really is a good sewing. The instructions are really clear. Now the instructions are reminiscent to me of the Cashmerette jean pattern, the Ames jeans, and you all know I've made the Ames jeans, and so and you all know I'm very comfortable with Cashmerette instructions, so there was nothing in particular that I struggled with for the skirt. And so let me just tell you, I used, as you know, the cotton twill for the fabric. For top stitching thread, I used a Gutermann top stitching thread weight. I got it all from Waistband and just ordered that in. And so I knew, because I was using the snaps, I wanted to use like a grayish color top stitching thread, which is what you see here. So that's the thread I use for top stitching on both of the garments. I did not add the belt loops on this because I typically don't wear belts anyway, and so I was like, I won't add the belt. So I did not add the belts. It calls for a 7-inch jean zipper, so if you have that, and I did have a jean zipper, but it was a black background, but like you can see it, you can't see it anyway. And so The one thing, the couple notes that I wrote is making sure that you remember to mark all of the pocket placement pieces, the right side and wrong sides of the fabric, because sometimes when you get into pieces, and I'll talk about that with the Vogue, is that sometimes you can get a little confused, and there is a lining piece and a facing piece that kind of look the same on this pattern, so you want to just make sure that you are good there. Like I said, the instructions were really good. I would say from start to finish, after you've cut everything out, so if you trace the pattern and cut everything out, I would say it will take maybe 3 hours is what I would say. And I actually wore my Saybrook tank, as you can tell, my Cashmerette Saybrook tank with my skirt today, with this whole look I thought was super cute. Now the size that I decided to do was a straight 24. I am pear shaped, so I selected the pear shaped design pattern pieces. My waist 45, hip 52, and so I cut a straight 24. And just so you know, for size reference, the finished garment measurement on the waist would then put it at 45.5 inches. And I was thinking, ooh, I might have a little room there, a little bit more ease there than maybe I'm looking for. But 45.5, I said I'll deal with it. And then the hip is 54 for the pair. So one of the things that I did not, and I'll tell you how I fixed both of these issues. The only issue I had with the skirt, and this was all on me. So the pattern for the Vogue, you don't have to have stretch in the fabric. The denim and everything that you use, you don't have to have stretch. However, for the Ellis, it is saying use mid to heavyweight stretch woven fabric such as denim between 10 and 12 ounces, corduroy or canvas with at least 15% stretch across the grain. I don't know at what point, I think I was starting to sew it and I was just making sure I was using the right seam allowance or something, and I looked and I saw that and I was like, my skirt has no stretch. my fabric has no stretch in it. So how I fix that is, instead of sewing at the seams, except for the waist, I still started the waist at, let me just show you, at the 1/2 inch, because the 1/2 inch seam allowance. So what I decided to do was, for my, I didn't bother with the front, but for my side and my back seam, I decided to do 1/4 inch seam allowance. And so that gave me the room that I needed, which was a brilliant save. And so let me see, hopefully, and I'll have videos and pictures up. My pockets and everything sit very well. It sits where I like. You have that back yoke detail there. And then the other thing was, I had gaping in the back. Now I think this is part, and let me just tell you how I fixed it. So when I tried it on, afterwards, I didn't sew down the waistband, only because I wanted to see if there was going to be gaping in the background, because I knew how I was going to fix it. And so when I tried it on, there was definitely gaping. Now it was either one of two reasons. One, because I knew it was going to be a little bit of ease there for the finished garment measurement, and or I think I sewed the waistband pieces upside down, which means the part that's supposed to be hugging you is now sticking out. So I'm thinking that's more so what had happened, which was fine, easy fix. I wasn't unpicking all of that, right? So what I decided to do, and I'll take this off so I can show you, I put elastic through the back to let it snug in. So hopefully you can see that. I added elastic back there, so there's no gaping. I took the gaping out, and I'll show you how I did that. But let me take off the skirt. Okay, so I went ahead and took off the skirt real quick. So how I did that, and I want to show you the inside anyway, because I'm so happy with the inside. I'm just going to turn it all the way inside out. So what I did was, so you can see this. So one of the things I did was I added binding around the waistband there. So on the inside you will see that binding. I love that look. Very nice finish. You all know, like I said in my video the other day, I'm being more diligent about the finishings of my garments as well, because once this gets donated, I mean, that just looks so good. But anyway, so for the elastic part, what I did was measure 1 inch elastic, because the waistband width is about 1 inch, a little over, but not by much. What I decided to do was measure a piece of elastic. I have 1 inch elastic, and I just measure from one side of my waist to the other to see how snug I would want it, but not overly snug, right? And so then I cut that. I didn't even measure it. I just, you have to do that to see how it feels for you personally, how much snugness you will want. And so what I did when like I said, I did not finish off the whole waistband. What I did was, once I did put in the binding, sewed that in, but then I left 3 inch gap here and a 3 inch gap here. And essentially, if you have cashmere calder shorts, that's how the back elastic part is finished anyway. And if you have another technique, use that. And so what I did was left these 2 pieces open. Everything was sewn down, and I sewed everything down first, like all of this down first with my regular thread before I did any top stitching. And so then I went ahead with the pen and just ran the elastic through. And once the end of the elastic got on this side, I sewed it down. You can't tell, but it's a seam that's catching the elastic through all the layers here. And I did in the regular thread, not the top stitching thread. So that caught the elastic here, so it's not gonna move. And then when I finished on this end and brought it out, I again stretched it to about right here and then sewed another line up and down, and then that gathered my back. But I didn't want a lot of gathering. So if you've seen my calder shorts, you know that's pretty gathered in the back. I just wanted a little bit that would tuck it in, and as you can tell, that worked perfect. And so yeah, that was my fix for the Ellis skirt. I love skirts like this. I love A-line skirts as well. And so I just love, and here's my fly. Everything just finished off beautifully. You have the fly shield. The instructions are very, very clear. There's nothing that will get you hung up or anything on it. If you would like to see a sew along for this, I probably wouldn't get to it to the beginning of the year. Maybe December. November, December. Let me know if you're interested in a sew along for the Ellis. Let me know. I will do it. But I love I did not have to change the placement of the pockets here. I did on the Ames jeans. They weren't quite sitting where I wanted to, but I was able to set these right where the markings were. So again, that type of thing, you have to make sure that you kind of test as you're going through. But all the top stitching, we got all the top stitching. I did not do rivets. It was with the pocket that I discovered my pace setter was not working. So the pocket is not, the stitching isn't as perfect. I mean, it looks good. I mean, but you know what I mean. And so we got top stitching all the way down, around. I just turned it under when I top stitched the bottom. And so yeah, that is it. I absolutely love this. So let me skip on over here and get you ready for the Vogue jacket. Okay, so the Vogue jacket. Woo-wee. Let me just be honest and upfront, y'all, this one is a labor of love. You are going to have to take your time with this one. This one, I would say it's 19 pattern pieces. 19. Yeah. So take your time, especially if you decide to trace. Let me be honest. I traced the main bodice pieces when I did my muslin, and I'll show you the muslin here shortly, and then I'll throw in a clip of some video of me and everything. But yeah, 19 pieces. And then yeah, then things got busy, so I decided I just cut out all the pieces. Now y'all know I don't normally do that, but but I did, and went ahead and just rolled with it. The one thing I would definitely say is do a muslin of just the side front, the front, side front, back, and side back, just so you can make sure you are getting a good fit around the shoulders and everything. And actually, let me pop in a clip here showing you how I did the muslin and how my muslin turned out before I cut into my fashion fabric. Okay, I am coming in with checking the muslin fit on this Vogue 1036. This is out of print, but I got it off of Etsy. I am doing view A, which is this version right here. So here is my muslin. I cut out a size H. So few things. The front I'm fine with. Here where you see this gap, see it meets down here, there's a piece that goes here, so I didn't bother doing that as part of the muslin piece. But anyway, so there's a couple pieces that go here. As usual, what I'm looking for is fit around my neck and shoulders. And once again, I am having, so what I've done, had to go get a marker. So I've marked where my shoulder stops, if you can see that red mark, and that looks like about an inch I need to take off and come in. I'm gonna mark here with the pen. I have to realize the sleeve, where the sleeve is going. So yeah, I'm gonna have to mark off camera this, because all of this is just a lot. But let's see, if I came in, tapered in a little bit here, I'm going to use some pins. It looked like I would still have to take out that same amount, but it looks like okay, so a couple things. I'm gonna just hold this, let this fall. So a couple things, I have a lot of excess here, so I need to pin this out and then taper to about right here, and it's looking pretty even on both sides. So I'm gonna pin this off camera because I need to take out some excess here. Then the back, same thing. It's a little too much fabric in the side seams. You can tell it's a lot of excess fabric back there. But again, I like the way I just want to do the bust above, because down below I'm fine with the waist down, but I just want to see what happens when I take some of this volume out. So I will check that. Okay, total change of plans. I went ahead and took out another 5/8 of an inch, and I had graded to here, and I stopped and I left this as normal. And like I said, I started up here, and that fixed the shoulder issue. So no need to take off the shoulder. But then the back still had all this excess fabric. So I went back in, and sorry you hear the printer going. I started here, the extra 5/8, I just took it all the way down the front, and then in the back I went down another 5/8, and then the center back piece, which you can't really tell because of the nature of this fabric. This is the center, hopefully you can see that. This is the center back piece. I went in another 5/8 of an inch. So guess what? I just need to trace down a whole nother size. The H is just way too big. I thought the extra was just up in here, but then when I fixed that and I was looking and I was turning around in the back and I took out the extra that was up in here, I was like, oh, it still looked bunchy down here and it still looked bunchy in the middle. So I just went all the way down 5/8 on the back side seams, and in the center back went down another 5/8 inch, and essentially all I did was go down a size. So I am going to retrace the pattern piece, and I'm just going to use G for the entire garment. Okay, so yeah, so essentially I didn't have to go through all of that adjusting and just go down a size, because by the time I did all that fixing and everything, all I need to do was go down a whole size, and that took care of everything, and it surely did. And so this is the jacket. As I said, we both decided to do the jacket, but I decided I didn't want to do lined, because you do have the option to line this jacket or leave it unlined. Now what I will say, and for those who are familiar with Sandra Bedzina patterns, you know that, sorry about that, at least for the patterns I have of hers, it does go into a lot of detail about fit, the different fit adjustments you can make. This particular pattern talked about using mohair, shoulder pads. I did not do the shoulder pads, and different things of that nature. And so yeah, the detail instructions on this jacket is very straightforward. I will tell you, all the steps together, it was 85 steps, which seems so overwhelming. The number of pattern pieces seem overwhelming. Keep in mind, I did not line mine. What I did do was bias bind everything, and I'll show you that here in a moment. But it goes together, if it makes sense. It went together very smoothly. There was only a couple parts I was hung up on, and there is a part I'll show you. Maybe you all can help me with, decide what I should do with it or do nothing. But I think my waistband piece was too small. The bottom lower band pieces, front lower band pieces specifically. The thing with this jacket, even though it's 19 pieces, what you're getting is a very fitted kind of contour type denim jacket. For example, this sleeve is like 6 pieces by itself. So you have the sleeve here, then you have this middle piece here, then you have these 2 outside pieces here, which then gets connected. It's a lot, but look at that. Doesn't that just look fantastic? Isn't that beautiful? That is gorgeous. This front pocket piece, this is stitched into the jacket in the front, and you top stitching over all of that. Just beautiful. And I did line it just with regular lining fabric, cotton lining fabric. The details on the front, you are double, and this is not just any kind of top stitching. It calls for 2 at a minimum rows of top stitching, and some areas up to 5 rows, depending on what you want. Because what as you're going through the instructions, she do reference back to the picture of the pattern to give you kind of a visualization of what she's talking about in that step, which I thought was pretty cool. And so, for example, I decided to do 3 rows of top stitching. I was going to do 4, but I was thinking, oh, that might look like too much. Maybe not, but I thought the 3 was just fine. And yeah, and you are top stitching and edge stitching everywhere across the sleeve. The only place we did not do it it didn't call for it was on the back. Right here, this back center seam, which was fine because I think the overall final look, that didn't need to be top stitched, although you could. And if I missed it, who knows, maybe I missed it. The other thing is, because I did not line it, I didn't take in consideration, because the sleeves at the bottom have sleeve facings. Now if you line it, the sleeve facings attached to the lining on the inside. Well, I wasn't using lining, so when I got to that part, I was like, ooh, and I had cut out those pieces, and I was putting the sleeve facing on, but then when I turned it inward, I was thinking, oh wait, I don't need this piece because A, I don't have lining, and that sleeve facing piece, the perimeter of it would match the perimeter of the lining piece, so I had no need for it. So what I ended up doing was using bias binding. The edge I bias bound and then just turned it under, and then of course top stitch, because it calls you to top stitch everything. So that turned out really, really nice. The inside of the jacket, let me just show you, and I ended up running out of bias binding because the only thing on the inside of this jacket that does not have the bias is around the armholes, which I'm totally fine with. One of the things I thought was really cool is that besides mohair, and I don't have any, actually I do have some mohair, I didn't realize it till way after the fact, but I had gotten a sample pack from I forgot the interfacing company. I'll probably grab it just in case anybody's interested and need to know what that looks like. Oh, I have a lot of straggly threads in here. So the facing piece is fully has the bias binding, because this would have attached to the lining, so you wouldn't have seen any of this anyway. So I added the bias binding, of course, and then all of my side seams have the bias binding. My back is a Hong Kong seam finish, so I finished the seams first with the bias binding, then I sewed them together and was able to sew them flat. So everything, let me try to hold this up a little bit better. So everything on the inside, aside from the sleeve head in there, is bound, including the bottom of the jacket. When you attach the and this is why I ran out of bias binding, but it's fine because it's black. When you attach the lower band, I added bias binding there as well. So yeah, so I love the finish on the inside, is beautiful. This will be definitely a long wearing jacket. Will definitely have quite a few years. It has quite a few years ahead of it. I am so happy we tackled this. I will say this was, now I feel like I need a quick sew, a palette cleanser, because between the skirt and this jacket, this was a lot of tops. This was really, I've never done so much top stitching in my life, but I mean, and like I said, all the pieces, because the sleeves have quite a few pieces to them, and you're doing that twice. And yeah, now the thing is, let me show you, my band wasn't long enough. So what I did was, when I attached them, I'm thinking those shouldn't line up. Once I attach, you're supposed to be just a little bit over. And so what I had to do was unpick and then add a little bit of fabric so it would be some overhang. So this side came out fine when I went back through and, you know, finagled it or whatever. Had to work it, but got it. But this side is a side that I don't like. It's messed up, and I'm wondering what should I do with that. Let me see if it'll focus on that and not me. See that? Yeah. So when I tried to do the same thing on this side, it didn't work, and so now I got that little gash right there, and I feel like I need to put something there, or I want to put something there, some kind of embellishment or something to cover that up, because, you know, when I do donate it, let me just make sure it focuses. So when I do donate it, I don't want that, you know, showing like that. I mean, you can't see it on me or when I wear it or anything like that. But so if you got any tips or whatever, what I should do with that, let me know. I was thinking about adding you know, cutting some fabric, turning the sides in, turning the tops in, and stitching it down. But I was like, oh, maybe that won't look right. So I said, let me just leave it, because I'm supposed to have a snap down here too. I didn't add the snap or anything. I'm not unpicking all of this because this is a lot, obviously. But I feel like I want to do something with that. Maybe add, I don't know if I maybe some kind of ribbon, or I don't know. If y'all have an idea that don't involve me taking off the entire lower band, let me know. I'm open. So yeah, I absolutely love the way it turned out. I absolutely love the way crystals look. And so I am going to show you me modeling around in my outfit, as well as sharing some pictures of crystal. That is it, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Doesn't crystal look so cute? I love it. I love it. I love it. And so yeah, this was a fun collaboration. This is one of those projects, this jacket, that you really have to bite your teeth into and just focus, take your time. There's nothing to rush through. But yeah, I absolutely love this jacket, and this is something for me I can wear except for on our like steamy days. This is a jacket I will wear all year round here in Texas, again, because I didn't line it, and that's why I didn't line it, because I wanted to be able to wear it all year round comfortably. So yeah, all my snaps went in good and everything closed well. So hopefully I did not miss anything with either of these products. So leave your questions and your comments down below if I missed anything, if you have any questions or anything like that. But yeah, stay tuned for Wednesday. It is my striped suit. That one is finally done as well. All right, everybody, you all have a blessed rest of your week, or I should say start to your week, and we will see you on Wednesday. Bye.